The Galactic Senate Hall was larger than any place on Earth. It was built like a giant circle, with thousands of floating seats rising into the air. Each seat held a leader from a different world. Strange shapes, different colors. Some had glowing skin. Some had too many eyes. Others looked almost human, but not quite. In the center of the hall, a bright light turned on. A voice echoed across the chamber. The final decision has been reached. The room went silent. Everyone knew what this was about. Humanity, the newest species in the galaxy, the most talked about, and the most feared. For years, humans had surprised everyone. They learned fast. They built faster. And in war, they adapted in ways no one expected. They did not follow old rules. They did not think like the others. And that made them dangerous. A tall alien figure stepped forward into the light. The Galactic Senate has voted, it said slowly. Humanity is to be disarmed. A low murmur spread across the chamber. Some leaders looked satisfied. Others looked nervous. The voice continued. All human military forces must be shut down. All weapons must be surrendered. This must be completed within 30 standard days. A pause. Then the final line came. If humanity refuses, they will be declared a threat to the entire galaxy. The message was sent. Across stars. Across systems. Straight to Earth. On Earth. Inside a secure military command center, alarms blinked softly. General Elena Voss stood still as the message played in front of her. She did not move. She did not speak. Around her, officers waited. No one dared to break the silence. The message ended. A young officer finally spoke, his voice low. "Ma'am, is this real?" Elena didn't answer. Her eyes were still on the screen. Another officer stepped closer. "They want us to disarm? Completely?" Still no answer. The room felt heavy, like something bad was about to happen. Finally, Elena turned. Her face was calm. Too calm. "Call a full command meeting," she said. "Yes, ma'am." Within minutes, the room filled with top military leaders. Navy, ground forces, intelligence. Everyone important was there. The message played again. This time, no one spoke at all. When it ended, voices started rising. "This is impossible. They are trying to control us. If we disarm, we are defenseless. They have fleets near our system already." That last line made the room go quiet again. Elena nodded slightly. "Show them," she said. A large holographic map appeared in the center of the room. It showed Earth, and around it, ships, hundreds of them. No, thousands. Alien fleets from different species, all positioned at a distance, watching, waiting. A cold feeling spread through the room. "They planned this," someone whispered. "They want us weak before they move in," another said. A senior commander stepped forward. "General, we cannot accept this. If we disarm, we lose everything." Another officer added, "We should prepare for war now." All eyes turned to Elena. She looked at the map, then at the message again, then back at her officers. "What are our chances if we fight them now?" she asked. No one answered. They all knew the truth. Too many enemies. Too little time. Too many unknowns. Finally, one officer spoke quietly. "We might win some battles, but not the war." Silence again. Elena took a slow breath. "Then we don't fight," she said. The room froze. "Ma'am," someone asked. She turned toward the communication station, sent a reply to the Senate. The officer at the console hesitated. What should I say? Elena walked closer. Her boots echoed softly on the metal floor. She stopped beside him. Her voice was clear. "Tell them humanity accepts the order." Shock hit the room like a wave. "What?" "We can't do that. This is surrender." But Elena did not react. She kept looking forward. The officer slowly typed the message. "Humanity accepts the Senate's order. Disarmament will begin immediately." He looked back at her. "Send it." Elena gave a small nod. "Send it." The message left Earth. And in seconds, the galaxy changed. Far away, inside the Senate Hall, the reply arrived. It was read out loud. For a moment, no one reacted. Then, laughter, relief, surprise. They accepted? That was easier than expected. I told you they were not ready. But not everyone was smiling. Some leaders looked confused, even worried. That was too fast, one said quietly. They didn't argue, another added. That is not normal. But their voices were lost in the celebration. The Senate believed the problem was solved. Humanity would disarm. Humanity would become harmless. Humanity would be controlled. Back on Earth, the command room was empty now. Only Elena remained. She stood alone, looking at the stars through a large window. Behind her, the lights dimmed. A door opened quietly. A man entered. Phase 1 is complete, he said. Elena did not turn. Good. Do you think they believe us? This time, she smiled, just a little. Yes, she said. They believe we are afraid. The man hesitated. And are we? Elena finally turned. Her eyes were sharp, cold, focused. No, she said softly. Then she looked back at the stars. They just made a very big mistake. Far above Earth, the alien fleets continued to wait, watching, calm, confident. They thought humanity had chosen peace. They thought humanity had given up. They had no idea that something had already begun, something quiet, something hidden, something dangerous. And by the time they realized the truth, it would already be too late. The news spread across the galaxy like fire. Humanity had accepted the order. They would disarm. They would give up their weapons. They would obey. For many alien worlds, it was a moment of relief. The fear they had felt for years slowly disappeared. Trade ships resumed their routes. Military patrols relaxed. Even the Galactic Senate began to calm down. They chose wisely, one senator said. They understood their place, another added. But not everyone was comfortable. A few leaders watched carefully. They agreed too fast. One of them whispered. Still, the official story was clear. Humanity was surrendering. Above Earth, the alien fleets remained in position. They did not leave. They did not trust humans completely. Large warships floated silently in orbit. Their weapons were active but not firing. Sensors scanned everything below. They were watching every move, waiting for any sign of resistance. But what they saw looked perfect. On Earth, the process had already begun. Military bases were shutting down. Weapon systems were powered off. Missile silos were opened and emptied. Warships landed and went silent. Even orbital defense stations turned dark. Everything was being recorded. Everything was being shown to the galaxy. Live broadcasts spread across multiple systems. Humanity begins full disarmament, the report said. Citizens watched from their homes. Many were confused. Some were angry. Others were afraid. Why are we doing this? People asked. Are we giving up? Is this the end? But the government gave only one answer. This is necessary for peace. Inside a large shipyard near Earth, workers moved quickly. Massive warships stood still like sleeping giants. One by one, their weapons were removed. Energy cannons were shut down. Missile systems were disconnected. A young engineer stood beside one of the ships, watching the process. Feels wrong, he said quietly. An older worker beside him nodded. Yeah, it does. Do you think we'll ever turn them back on? The older man looked around, then leaned closer. Just do your job, he whispered. Don't ask questions. The young engineer frowned but said nothing more. Deep inside a hidden command center, far below the surface of Earth, things looked very different. There were no cameras here, no broadcasts, no observers from the Senate, only trusted personnel, and General Elena Voss. She stood in front of a large holographic display. But this one was not being shown to the galaxy. This map showed something else. Hidden locations, secret facilities, moving signals. A commander stepped forward. Surface operations are complete, he reported. All visible weapon systems are offline. Elena nodded. And the fleets? Public fleets are grounded, as ordered. A small pause. And the others? She asked. The commander allowed himself a slight smile. Still active. The room stayed silent. Everyone understood what that meant. Elena crossed her arms. Good, she said. Keep them hidden. Days passed. The disarmament continued. Alien inspection teams began arriving on Earth. They were sent by the Senate to confirm everything. Tall beings with scanning devices walked through human bases. They checked ships. They checked weapons. They checked data. Every result was the same. Nothing. No active weapons. No hidden systems. No resistance. One alien inspector spoke into his recorder. Human compliance is complete. No signs of deception. Another inspector looked around slowly. It feels too clean, he said. What do you mean? His partner asked. I mean, they are not arguing, not resisting, not even complaining. The other one shrugged. Maybe they are smarter than we thought. Or maybe, the first one paused, we are missing something. But without proof, the report remained positive. Humanity was following the order. Back in orbit, alien commanders reviewed the reports. All scans confirm it. One said, they're disarmed. Another officer leaned back. Good. That makes things easier. A third one spoke quietly. Should we begin phase 2? The commander thought for a moment, then nodded. Not yet. Let them finish completely. He looked at Earth below. They have nowhere to go. On Earth, life continued, but something felt different. Too quiet, too controlled, too perfect. People noticed small changes. Military convoys moving at night. Restricted zones expanding. Communication lines becoming more secure. But nothing clear. Nothing that could prove anything. Only small signs, like pieces of a puzzle that didn't fit yet. Late at night, inside the underground command center, Elena stood alone again. The room was dark, except for the glowing map. Dots moved slowly across it. Ships, signals, hidden movements. A door opened behind her. The same commander from before entered. Phase 1 is holding, he said. No suspicion from the Senate. Elena didn't turn. Good. He hesitated. Some of our people are starting to question things. They think we are truly surrendering. Elena was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke. Let them think that. The commander frowned. Even our own people? Elena finally turned. Yes. Her voice was calm. The more real it looks, the better it works. She walked closer to the hologram, zooming in on several points. These locations, she said, all active. Production, he asked. Increasing, she replied. And detection risk? 0. The commander took a slow breath. They really have no idea. Elena looked at him. That's the plan. Far above, the alien fleets remained in place. Silent, watching, waiting. They believed they were in control. They believed humanity was weak now. They believed the danger was gone. But they were wrong, because what they were seeing was only the surface. And beneath that surface, something else was growing. Something faster, smarter, invisible. And when the time came, the galaxy would finally understand. Humanity had not surrendered. Humanity had only changed. By the second week, the galaxy had stopped paying close attention. To them, the story was already over. Humanity had accepted defeat. Humanity was disarming. There was nothing more to watch. Trade resumed between systems. News channels moved on to other topics. Even the Galactic Senate reduced its meetings. They are no longer a threat, one official said. They made the right choice. Another added, but far from the public eye. The truth was very different. On Earth, everything still looked normal. Military bases were quiet. Warships stayed grounded. Weapon factories stood still. Alien inspectors continued their work. Scanning, checking, reporting. And every report said the same thing. Humanity is compliant. But the inspectors only saw what they were allowed to see. They walked through empty halls. They scanned inactive systems. They checked ships that had already been stripped of visible weapons. Everything looked clean. Perfect. Too perfect. One inspector, named Ralvan, stood inside a large human facility. It used to be a weapons factory. Now it was silent. Machines were turned off. Assembly lines were empty. Ralvan slowly walked through the building, his scanning device glowing softly in his hand. No active systems detected, The device said. He frowned. This place produced advanced weapons just weeks ago, he said. His partner, another inspector, shrugged. They shut it down, just like the others. Ralven looked around again. Something felt wrong. He walked closer to one of the machines. Touched it, cold, unused. But then he noticed something. Very small, almost invisible. A thin line of heat deep inside the wall. His device did not react, but his instincts did. Scan deeper, he said. His partner looked confused. The Senate didn't ask for deep scans. Ralven didn't move. Do it anyway? The scan began. Seconds passed. Then the device beeped. Unknown energy signature detected. Both inspectors froze. What is that? His partner asked. Ralven didn't answer. He moved closer. But suddenly, the signal disappeared. Gone, like it was never there. The device went silent again. No energy detected, it said. The two inspectors looked at each other. Did you see that? The partner asked. Ralven nodded slowly. But after a moment, he stepped back. It's nothing, he said. Probably leftover heat. His partner seemed unsure, but he didn't argue. And just like that, the moment passed. Deep below that same facility, hidden behind layers of metal and advanced shielding, machines were running at full speed. Not old machines. New ones. Silent ones. They did not look like weapon factories. But they were. Advanced systems were being built. Weapons without visible forms. Technology that could not be detected by normal scans. Workers moved quickly. No uniforms. No ranks. Only focus. Everything was controlled by one central system. And above it all, one name appeared again and again. Elena Voss. Inside the underground command center, Elena stood in front of a new hologram. This one showed more than just Earth. It showed the entire system. And beyond, hidden signals blinked quietly, ships moving in darkness, stations that did not exist on official maps. A scientist approached her. Phase 2 was progressing, he said. Elena nodded. Status. New stealth systems are working. No detection from alien scans. And the fleet. Growing. She looked closer at the display. Dozens of ships. Then hundreds. All hidden. All invisible to the enemy. They still think we are disarmed, the scientist said. Elena allowed a small smile. Let them think that. Back in orbit, alien fleets continued their watch. But their attention was fading. Some ships reduced their scans. Others powered down systems to save energy. Confidence had replaced caution. They are finished, one officer said. There is no need to stay alert all the time. Another nodded. They are not a threat anymore. But not everyone agreed. A commander named Terex stood on the bridge of his ship, watching Earth below. Keep full scans active, he ordered. His crew looked surprised. Sir, the Senate reports. I don't care what the Senate reports, Terex interrupted. Something about this feels wrong. What do you mean? Terex narrowed his eyes. They surrendered too easily. Back on Earth, small changes continued. Most people didn't notice, but some did. A delivery pilot reported strange signals near the moon. A satellite operator noticed brief flashes of energy, then nothing. A scientist saw patterns in the sky that didn't match any known ships. But every time someone tried to investigate, the signals were gone. No proof, no evidence, just questions. One night, Elena held a private meeting. Only a few people were invited. Top commanders, top scientists, no one else. The room was quiet. Everyone knew something important was coming. Elena stepped forward. The Senate believes we are weak, she said. They believe we obey. She paused. They are wrong. A commander spoke. Are we ready? Elena looked at him. Not yet. Another asked, then what are we waiting for? Elena turned back to the hologram, watching the hidden fleet grow. Timing, she said. Far above, Commander Terex continued to watch Earth. His instincts refused to calm down. He ordered another deep scan. Stronger, more detailed. The system ran. Seconds passed. Then minutes. Suddenly, a signal appeared. Weak, but real. Terex leaned forward. Lock onto it. The crew moved quickly, but just as they got close, the signal vanished. Gone again. Terex clenched his hand. They're hiding something, he said, but without proof, he could do nothing. Back on Earth, Elena received a report. Alien commander attempted deep scan. An officer said. Did they find anything? She asked. No. Signal was removed in time. Elena nodded. Good. She looked at the map again. Everything was still hidden. Everything was still under control. For now, the galaxy believed the story was over. They believed humanity had surrendered. They believed the danger was gone. But they were wrong. Because behind the silence, behind the surrender, behind the perfect image, humanity was not becoming weaker. Humanity was evolving. And when the truth finally came out, it would not be a surprise. It would be a shock. One the galaxy would never forget. Day 30 arrived. Across the galaxy, it was marked as the final day of human disarmament. News channels turned their focus back to Earth. This is the last phase, they reported. Humanity is expected to complete full compliance today. In the Galactic Center Hall, leaders gathered once again. They wanted to see the end. They wanted to confirm that humanity was no longer a threat. Large screens lit up across the chamber. Live images from Earth appeared. Human bases silent. Warships inactive. Defense systems offline. Everything looked complete. Everything looked perfect. On Earth, the same images were being broadcast. Citizens watched quietly. Some felt relief. Others felt fear. But no one truly understood what was about to happen. Inside the main command center, General Elena Voss stood with her officers. The room was calm. Too calm. A young officer spoke softly. Final systems are offline, ma'am. Elena nodded. And the message? Ready to send. She took a breath. Send it. The message went out. Humanity has completed all disarmament requirements. It was simple, clear, final. In the Senate Hall, the message was received. A moment of silence followed. Then applause. Leaders stood. Some even celebrated. It is done, one said. The galaxy is safe, another added. But in the back of the chamber, a few remained seated, watching, thinking, waiting. Above Earth, alien fleets received the same message. Commanders reviewed the data. All scans confirmed it. No weapons, no active defense, no resistance. One officer smiled. They are completely exposed now. Another nodded. Then we proceed. A transmission was sent, not to Earth, but to all fleet commanders. A single command. Phase 2 begins. Moments later, everything changed. The calm orbit around Earth turned tense. Alien ships began to move, slow at first, then faster. They spread out across key positions. Weapon systems powered up. Energy levels rose. From Earth, the change was clear. Alarms started ringing across human systems. Inside the command center, officers reacted quickly. Multiple fleets repositioning. Weapons charging detected. Target locks forming around Earth. Panic started to rise. Ma'am, they're preparing to fire. All eyes turned to Elena. She didn't move. She didn't look surprised. Instead, she asked one question. How many? Over 3,000 ships, an officer replied. From at least 12 different species. Another added, we have no active defenses. A third voice came in, louder this time. We are completely exposed. The room filled with tension, fear, confusion. But Elena remained calm. Above Earth, a massive alien ship moved forward. It was larger than all the others. Its surface glowed with power. This was the command vessel. A message was sent from it, broadcast directly to Earth. To the people of Earth, the voice began. You have complied with the Senate's order. A pause. For the safety of the galaxy, further action is required. In the Senate Hall, the celebration stopped. Leaders looked at each other. What is this? One asked. This was not part of the agreement. Another said. But the message continued. Humanity will now be placed under permanent control. Shock spread across the chamber. This is wrong. They already disarmed. You cannot do this. But it was too late. The fleets had already moved. Back on Earth, the message was received. The truth was clear now. This was never about peace. This was never about safety. It was control, total control. In the command center, voices rose. They tricked us. This was their plan from the start. We need to do something. But there was nothing visible to use. No weapons, no shields, no defense. Or at least, that's what it looked like. The alien command ship spoke again. You have one final chance. Surrender full planetary control or face destruction. A countdown appeared on screens. 60 seconds. The entire planet watched. Fear spread across cities. People held their breath. Families looked at the sky, waiting, hoping, but not understanding. Inside the command center, the officers looked at Elena. "Ma'am, what do we do?" The countdown reached 45 seconds. No one moved. No one spoke. Then, Elena stepped forward. Her expression was calm, controlled, almost expected. She looked at the main screen, at the alien fleets, at the countdown. Then she gave a small nod. "Good," she said quietly. The room went silent. An officer blinked in confusion. "Ma'am." Elena turned slightly. They made the first move. The meaning of her words hung in the air. Slowly, the fear in the room began to change into something else. Understanding. "Activate Phase 2, Elena said. The command was simple, but its impact was not. For a brief moment, nothing happened. The countdown reached 30 seconds. Alien fleets held position, weapons ready. The Senate watched in shock. Earth waited in silence. Then, something changed. Not loud, not bright, but real, very real. Signals began to appear, weak at first, then stronger, then everywhere. On the alien command ship, alarms suddenly activated. Unknown energy readings detected. Multiple sources. Location unknown. What is this? Commanders rushed to their stations, trying to understand, trying to locate the signals. But they couldn't, because the signals were not coming from known positions. They were coming from everywhere. Back in the human command center, the holographic map lit up. Hidden points activated one by one. Ships, stations, systems, all coming online. All at once. The room filled with quiet focus. No panic, no fear, only readiness. Elena watched the map, her eyes steady, her voice calm. "Now," she said softly. The countdown reached 10 seconds. Alien fleets prepared to fire, but something was wrong. Their systems began to react, not to Earth's surface, but to something else, something they could not see, something they did not expect. In the Senate hall, silence returned. No one spoke now. No one celebrated, because everyone could feel it. Something was about to happen, something they did not understand, something they could not stop. Above Earth, the trap was closing, but not the one the galaxy had planned. A different one, a hidden one, a human one. And in the final seconds before everything changed, General Elena Voss spoke one last time. "Welcome," she said quietly, "to our real response." The countdown reached 0. For a single second, nothing happened. Then the alien fleets fired. Bright beams of energy rushed toward Earth. Thousands of weapons, all at once. The sky lit up from the surface. People saw lines of light falling from space. It looked like the end. Inside the command center, no one moved. No one screamed. They only watched. Then, the beam stopped. Not slowly. Not with an explosion. They simply vanished. Gone. As if they had never existed. Across every alien ship, alarm screamed. Energy weapons failed to reach target. Impact not detected. Unknown interference. Confusion spread instantly. "What just happened?" one commander shouted. Where did the shots go? No one had an answer. Above Earth, something invisible had activated. A shield, but not like any shield the galaxy had seen before. It did not glow. It did not block with force. It erased incoming attacks. Silently, completely, on the alien command ship, Officers rushed around in panic. Scan the area. We are scanning, nothing detected. That's impossible. Another wave of weapons fired. Again, the same result. The beams reached a certain point, then disappeared, like they hit something that wasn't there, or something that refused to be seen. Inside the human command center, a quiet voice spoke. Phase 2 shields active. Elena nodded. Status. Full coverage. No damage detected. She looked at the screen. The alien fleets were confused, unorganized, exactly as planned. Proceed, she said. At that moment, space itself seemed to shift. At first, it was hard to notice. Small distortions, like heat waves in the air, but in space. Then shapes began to appear. Faint, blurred, then clearer. Ships, human ships. Dozens, then hundreds, then thousands. They appeared from nothing, from empty space, from places where no ships were detected before. Alien sensors reacted too late. New contact detected. Range close. Very close. How did they get there? Panic spread across every fleet. These ships were not on any scans before. They were not tracked. They were not expected. And now, they were everywhere. The human ships did not look like the old ones. They were different, smoother, darker, no visible weapons, no large engines. They moved silently, like shadows, like ghosts. On the alien command ship, orders were shouted, target the new ships. Fire immediately. Weapons turned, locked, fired. But again, the shots failed. Some missed, some vanished. Some never even reached their targets. What is happening to our systems? They are not responding correctly. Then humanity made its move. Not loud, not dramatic, but precise. From the hidden ships, small pulses of energy were released. No bright flashes, no explosions, just soft waves. They moved quickly, touching alien ships one by one. And when they did, something strange happened. The alien ships went dark. Lights off, engines stopped, weapons disabled. No damage, no fire, just silence. On one alien cruiser, the crew looked around in shock. All systems offline. Backup systems not responding. We've lost control. Another ship reported the same. Then another. Then hundreds. Fleet-wide failure. We're losing everything. Panic turned into fear. Real fear. Back in the Senate Hall, leaders watched in horror. This is not possible. They were disarmed. Were those ships? No one had answers anymore. The situation had completely changed. On Earth, people looked up at the sky. They saw new lights. Not falling, not attacking, but moving, protecting, fighting. For them, hope returned. Slowly, then strongly. Inside the human command center, everything was under control. Officers reported calmly. Enemy ships disabled in Sector 3. Sector 5 secured. No losses on our side. Elena stood still, watching it all. Her plan was working perfectly. A commander spoke. Ma'am, they're retreating. She nodded. Let them. Should we pursue? Elena shook her head. No. She looked at the screen again. They need to understand. Above Earth, the alien fleets began to fall back. Slowly at first, then faster. Ships that still had control turned away. Others drifted helplessly. Entire formations broke apart. The attack had failed. Completely. Then a message was sent. From Earth, to every ship, to every system, to the entire galaxy. It was clear, calm, human. You asked us to disarm. A pause followed. Across space, across worlds. Everyone listened. Then the message continued. We did. Another pause. Longer this time. Then the final line came. We just didn't say what we would become instead. Silence filled the galaxy. No one spoke. No one moved. Because now they understood. Humanity had not become weaker. Humanity had become something else. Something smarter. Something hidden. Something far more dangerous. On the alien command ship, the leader sat quietly, watching his fleet fall apart. watching his plan fail. He spoke softly. We underestimated them. No one replied, because it was true. Back on Earth, Elena finally relaxed her shoulders. Just a little. The hardest part was over. But not everything. Not yet. She turned to her team. Prepare final communication, she said. What will we tell them? An officer asked. Elena looked at the stars, her voice steady. The truth. Above, the hidden human fleet remained, silent, invisible again, waiting, because this was not just a victory. It was a message, a warning, and the galaxy had finally received it. The battle was over, but the silence that followed felt heavier than the fight itself. Across space, damaged alien ships drifted slowly. Some had no power. Some had lost control. Others moved away as fast as they could. No explosions. No fire. Just failure. Complete failure. Above Earth, the hidden human fleet began to fade again. One by one, the ships disappeared. Not by moving away, but by becoming invisible. Gone from sight. Gone from scanners. Gone from everything. As if they were never there. Only the quiet orbit remained. And the broken enemy fleets. Inside the alien command ship, no one spoke. The leader sat still, staring at the empty space where human ships had been. His hands were tight. His mind was racing. How? He whispered. No one answered, because no one knew. In the Galactic Center Hall, chaos had taken over. Leaders shouted at each other. This was not authorized. You broke the agreement. You started a war. Others tried to defend the action. Humanity was a threat. They could not be trusted. They had to be controlled. But those arguments were weak now, because the result was clear. The attack had failed. And worse, humanity had revealed something new, something the galaxy did not understand. One senator stood up slowly. His voice was not loud, but it was calm, and it cut through the noise. We were wrong. The room slowly became quiet. He looked around at the others. We believed strength meant weapons. He paused. But humanity showed us something else. No one interrupted him, because deep down, they all knew it was true. On Earth, celebrations had not started. There were no loud cheers, no victory parades, only relief. People held their families, looked at the sky, and tried to understand what had just happened. They had almost lost everything, but they didn't, because someone had planned ahead, because someone had seen the truth early. Inside the command center, the atmosphere was calm, controlled. Officers moved quietly, finishing reports, checking systems. Everything had gone according to plan. A commander approached Elena. All enemy forces are retreating, he said. No further attacks detected. Elena nodded. Any damage? None, ma'am. He paused, then added, not a single loss. For a moment, even he seemed surprised by that. Elena allowed herself a small breath. Good. Another officer stepped forward. Message channel is ready. Elena turned. Send it. The officer hesitated. To all systems? Elena nodded. To everyone. The message spread across the galaxy. Faster than any news. Faster than any report. It reached the Senate. It reached the fleets. It reached worlds that had never even seen a human before. Then it played. General Elena Voss appeared on screen. Calm, steady, strong. She looked directly forward. Not afraid, not angry, just clear. Humanity does not seek war, she said. Her voice was simple, easy to understand. But we will not accept control. She paused, letting the words sink in. You asked us to disarm. A small breath, and we did. Another pause. But we will never make ourselves helpless. Her eyes did not move. We chose to change. The message ended. No threats, no anger, just truth. Across the galaxy, reactions were different. Some felt fear, real fear. If this is what they can do now, what will they become later? One leader asked. Others felt respect. They did not destroy us. Another said, they could have... And some felt regret. We forced them into this, a quiet voice admitted. We created this outcome. On one retreating alien ship, Commander Tarek stood alone, looking at Earth in the distance. He had been one of the few who felt something was wrong. Now he understood why. They were never weak, he said softly. They were patient. He turned away, set course out of the system. His crew moved quickly. No one questioned the order. No one wanted to stay. Days passed. The galaxy slowly returned to normal. But it was not the same normal. Something had changed. Something important. Humanity was no longer seen as new, or unpredictable, or weak. Now, they were respected and feared. In the Senate, new discussions began, different from before, more careful, more serious. We must not repeat this mistake. One leader said, humanity must be treated as an equal. Another added, no one spoke about control anymore. That idea was gone, destroyed along with their plan. Back on Earth, life slowly settled, but not completely, because deep below the surface, things were still active. Hidden facilities continued their work. New ships were being built, new systems developed, better, faster, more advanced. Inside the underground command center, Elena stood alone again. The same holographic map glowed in front of her, but now it showed more ships, more signals, more reach. Humanity had grown, quietly, carefully, and now, openly. A young officer entered the room. Ma'am, he said, the Senate has requested communication. Elena didn't turn. What do they want? They want to talk. She was silent for a moment. Then she gave a small nod. Schedule it. The officer hesitated. Do you trust them? Elena looked at the stars. Her expression did not change. No, she said. Then she added softly, but we understand them now. Far beyond Earth, hidden in deep space, a fleet moved quietly. Human ships, silent, invisible, watching, not preparing for war, but ready for it, if it ever came again, because humanity had learned something important. Peace was not given. It was protected, and trust was not a weakness, but it had to be earned. The galaxy would never forget that day, the day they tried to control humanity, the day humanity answered, not with anger, not with fear, but with something far more powerful, understanding, patience, and strength, the kind of strength that did not need to be shown until it was too late.